one of the important reason why Python is most popular language is the simplicity of the language. So the creator of Python has done really great work to simplify programmers' task, and we can get really great results with very tiny code. But one thing we need to understand is that when the complexity is removed from the user's end, the complexity must be handled within the Python internal systems. So when we are storing the data into any kind of variable, internally Python executor first identify the type of data and categorize the data. For example, if we talk about categories of vehicles, it might include bicycle, a scooty, or a proper bike, right? And if we talk about attributes or the functionalities of each category or each object, we can see that bicycle can have brakes, scooty can have brakes, bike also can have brakes. But bicycle can have pedal, scooty and bike cannot have pedal, right? Similarly, a scooty can have accelerator, bike also can have accelerator, but the clutch is only present in bike. So from this example, we get to know that categorization is important to identify which function is available in which kind of object or which category of object. So pedal functionality is available only bicycle category of objects, right? Now the same analogy if we apply to data and if we try to categorize the data, so far we have seen a limited kind of data types, right? Similar kind of categories. So we have seen number, we have seen text or string, but also we can have some kind of list or set data type or bytecode data type as well, right? So this categorization is important because it might have specific functionalities. For example, here we can, if my data type is number, I can add the number, I can multiply the number. But if it is a text, I cannot add it, right? So instead of that, I have different set of functionalities to perform on the text data. So I can do text up to uppercase, I can do lowercase, or I can trim the text. Similarly, for the binary data or bytecode data, I might have different set of functionalities. For example, I can have functionalities like encode and decode, which is not available to number category or text category. In Python, for a user or as a programmer, it is really convenient to just say x equal to 1. But internally, Python executor have to identify what is the data type of that number. It is integer, it is string, it is binary, or what is it exactly? This whole concept of categorization and identification of type of content or type of data is known as data type. And we can have multiple categories or multiple data types in Python, which can be seen in this chart. So for text we have str, for numeric types we have integer, float, etc. Enough theory. Let's try to get our hands dirty on this Python interpreter. I'll simply print a message, hello world. So the command is print hello. Okay, that's fine. It's working. Now I want to store a message into a variable. That variable can be msg. I will simply write msg equal to hello. And if I try to print type of string hello, I'll get str because it's a text type of data. But instead of static string, if I put message variable here, what should I get? Similarly, if I put a into message and then try to find the type of that message, still it is a string because a is first a character and it is inside the quotes. So whatever inside the single or double quote, that will be considered as a string. Now I will change the same or replace the same variable, and now I will store value equal to 1 to 3. This is pure number, right? Because it doesn't have the single quotes. And if I see the type, it is integer. Integer means number. But now if I put quotes around the number, even if 123 is a number, because I have written inside the quote, single quote, it becomes a string. Again, if I take x equal to 1 and y equal to, let's say, 3, I can simply add these numbers, right? I'll get the result 4. Now if I change the variable y to some string, let's say hello, and again if I try to do this addition operation, I'll get the same error which we have seen, unsupported operand type for int and string. So you cannot add int and string, it should be both integers, right? If I revert it back to some other number, now again I can perform the addition. Now again what I'll do is I'll store two words or two strings in two variables called x and y. Let's try to check type of both of the variables x and y. It is string, so we are good. Now I will try to add x plus y. Now you see, as both the variables are string, I will get a single string as a result. We call it as a concatenation, so joining of the two string or two variables. So as we see, welcome Python is our result, and we can add n number of variables and static strings as well. So now if you see x and y are variable, we are adding it, and also we have added a static string which is space in double quote. So that's why we are getting welcome space Python. If I again change the variables, put x equal to 1 and y equal to 1. If I do x plus y, what should be the output? Oh, it's giving the error. Why? Because Python is a case sensitive language. If you have initialized small y or lowercase y, then you cannot use or replace it with capital Y. It should be case sensitive. And just like what we have done with the string, we can do with integers as well. We can use combinations of variable and the static numbers. So far we have covered strings and numbers as well. Let's try to see how float works. So let's take a variable called f equal to 0.25. Let's print x, y and f. So my value of x is 1, y is 1 and f is 0.25, which is correct. Now let's try to add this number. We get the result, right? Perfect. So addition operation works with integers and float as well. Let's try negative numbers. Again, if I do the same calculation, yes. So this operator works with negative numbers as well, negative numbers and float numbers as well. So far so good. Now again, let's move back to the string and see how we can print this hello world having the start and end with spaces. If I print it, I'll get the same string. If you observe, we have spaces in the start and spaces in the end. What if I don't want these spaces, right? So there is one function called, I guess, trim. No, it's not trim. I guess it is strip. Yeah. So variable dot function, so message dot strip will remove all the spaces from the start and end, unnecessary spaces from start and end. So strip is a function of string variable. Okay, now if we see the quotes, we don't have any spaces after the quotes. But if I simply print message, we have this starting and ending quotes spaces. So strip is a function of a string class or string data type which removes the spaces from start and end. Now let's replace that x variable and assign some value like 5. So x is our integer now, and if I try to put x strip function on x, it will throw the error saying that int object does not have attribute or a function called strip. Okay, so strip function is only applicable for string variables or string class variables. But now the question is, how can, okay, I know strip function exists to remove the spaces, but if I'm new to Python, how would I know if such function exists and what's its functionality, what does it do? Okay, so for that we have another function called dir. Inside that dir we have to write our variable for which we want to find the functions, related functions, right? So in previous example we have seen that for a bike we had 3 functions: brake, accelerator and clutch. So how would I know how many functions are there for bike object or a string object in this case? So if we do this dir message, you will see this is the list of all the functionalities available for string or the message variable. Okay, we can add, we have class, contents and all. The functions which is having double underscore at the start and end are known as magic functions or dunder functions. But let's see the other functionalities which is available for our string class or message variable. What other functions we can apply? We can apply this upper or strip function, which we have used, right? Or we can use this rstrip, which is right side of strip, or the split function, which split our one word into multiple letters. So let's try to apply some function. So message.strip syntax is the variable dot function name and brackets. Okay, inside that brackets we can have some argument or we cannot have. It is sometimes it is optional, sometimes it is required. Okay, now strip function does not takes any argument, so simply we have to open and close the round bracket and we'll get the result. Let's try another function. What other function we can do? Yeah, we can use the upper function, which will basically convert our string which is inside the message into the uppercase. Now you'll see hello world in the uppercase. Let's take another function. What function we can take is a count function. So let's count. So this count, you'll see now the count takes at least one argument and we haven't provided any, so that's why we are getting the error. So count function basically counts how many occurrences of particular whatever argument we provide, how many occurrences are present. Okay, so now I get it. Count must take at least one argument, but what is that argument? How will I know, right? So for that also we can have the help function. In help function we have to type variable.count, whatever function we want help from, and it will basically show. Now if we can see, the count method is built in for string instance or string instance, and s.count, the first argument is substring and start and end is optional, right? So it returns the number of non-overlapping occurrences of substring sub in string. Okay, so whatever we provide inside that bracket, whatever substring or whatever pattern, it will find the occurrences of that pattern in the string. What we can find how many times hello are there. Okay, but hello we have to provide inside the single quotes or double quotes because it's a string. Okay, oh, our string is hello world, but still if I if I try to find hello, I'm not getting it. Reason being, the hello should be, or this substring or the argument should be exact same including the cases. So hello word is present one time in the string. Also, we have another function called replace. Let's try to see what replace does. Okay, so replace is just string function. It replaces the old string. We have to provide two arguments, old string and new string. Okay, so what we want to replace and what is the new keyword. Okay, old is replaced by new. This help is good. So message dot replace. Let's say I want to replace hello first word and I want to replace with, let's say, goodbye. If I hit enter, I'll see goodbye word. So the hello is replaced with goodbye. So there are a lot of functionalities you can explore here. And if you don't understand any function, you can get help and see how many argument it takes, what it does, and all the related information. Now, when we talk about this magic functions or dunder functions, let's try to see what add does, right? If you remember, we can add two strings. So if we do welcome plus Python two strings, it gave us welcome Python. So addition operation is working for two strings. Okay. So internally, the plus operator will call this add method to add this two string. Let's say if I have two words, first word and second word. If I have welcome and second word, we can take it as a Python again. And if, yeah, my first word is welcome, second word is Python. Now if I do F word plus S word, it will give me welcome Python, which we have already seen, right? So it internally calls this magic method called add. So when we use this addition operation, it internally calls underscore add method. Instead of plus operator, if I do F word dot add and pass S word as an argument, I'll still get the same result. Clear? So these are some default method which Python internally implements, and for simplicity, it gives us just simple operator so that we can perform calculation. Now here, if you see, my x is integer, and it also has underscore underscore add method. So whenever we do x plus y, it will internally call this magic method called add. So again, if I do x dot add and put y inside the bracket, I'll get the addition